The Merced River begins in Yosemite National Park. Within the park, the river gathers and flows through a stunning landscape of glaciated peaks, lakes, alpine and subalpine meadows. Leaving the park in a series of rapids and cascades, the river flows free for 30 miles before it is swallowed by McClure Reservoir behind Exchequer Dam. The Wild and Scenic Rivers Act was signed into law by President Lyndon Johnson in 1969. It is hereby declared to be the policy of the United States that certain selected rivers of the nation which possess outstanding, remarkable scenic, recreational, geologic, fish and wildlife, historic, cultural, and other similar values shall be preserved in free-flowing condition and shall be protected for the benefit and enjoyment of present and future generations. In 1987 and 1992, the Merced was designated a wild and scenic river based on outstanding remarkable values, including whitewater boating, trout fishing, nesting bald eagles, and the California fully protected limestone salamander. Many organizations work together to reach agreement with Merced Irrigation District on the designation of the river as wild and scenic.
Hello, my name is Ralph Mendershausen. I've lived in Mariposa County for close to 40 years now, and I've been very much involved with this, our Merced River, since the early 80s. And in 83 to 87, I was with the Merced Canyon Committee, which was formed in order to prevent dams on the upper portion of the Merced River. And in the process of protecting the river as a national wild and scenic river, we came to a compromise. And that final compromise was in 1991 with the designation of the lower river.
The Merced offers high-quality whitewater boating through recreational, wild and scenic, and just above the reservoir, wild reaches of river. Commercial whitewater outfitters offer visitors to Yosemite Valley an additional day or two of vigorous and exciting recreation. 8 outfitters run the river, and the rafting industry brings $7 million into Mariposa County.
Last year we ran about 8,200 people down this river. We get a lot of foreign visitors and a lot of walk-in traffic. You know, just kind of a great destination area, Yosemite Valley and the Merced River.
The river also provides excellent kayaking, challenging during high water resulting from snowmelt and mellowing out by early June. The Merced River is a classic trout river. In addition to rainbow trout and brown trout, native and introduced Chinook salmon and introduced kokanee salmon migrate up the river from the reservoir. Fly fishing is challenging, as the water is gin clear and there is little vegetative cover behind which to hide. This is a remarkable place to be when the fish are in and feeding on the surface. One can only imagine the magnificent fishery this would have been before the construction of the dams, which ended the anadromous fish runs long ago. The reach just above the reservoir is ideal habitat for another of the fishing brethren. The bald eagle. This secluded and rich fishery is ideally suited to this large raptor. The bald eagle is one of the great success stories of the Endangered Species Act. Measures implemented under the ESA, coupled with the preservation of wild habitat such as the lower Merced, brought this great bird back from near extinction. The limestone salamander is a California species unique to Mariposa County, specifically living along the Merced River Canyon between South Fork and Bagby. It typically lives in north-facing rock talus slope habitat, which provides subsurface refugia during the warmest portions of the year. They are only surface active in late fall through winter during cold and rainy periods. It has one of the most restricted distributions of any California vertebrate, and is thus protected by the California Endangered Species Act, CESA, and Section 5050 of the California Fish and Game Code. Unlike CESA, this latter law prohibits the take of any animals at any time except for research purposes. New Exchequer Dam on the Merced River forms Lake McClure, which at full pool has a capacity of 1,024,000 acre-feet. An acre-foot will cover a football field, including end zones, with 1 foot of water. The average annual runoff above Exchequer Dam is about 960,000 acre-feet. The dam consists of three main structures. The main dam is a rock-fill structure 470 feet high and about 1,200 feet long. The gated spillway consists of 6 radial gates that are 40 feet wide and 30 feet deep. The ungated emergency spillway is about 1,180 feet long. Merced Irrigation proposes to add 10 feet to the radial gates and to add 10 feet to the ungated spillway. In the composite picture, the blue line is the old reservoir elevation at current maximum pool, and the red line is the reservoir elevation at the proposed maximum pool. The green line is the top of the main dam. The projected yield of new water from the project is generally agreed to be about 12,000 acre-feet. The current yield, which is defined as the amount of water that is controlled by the dam and delivered to customers, is about 500,000 acre-feet. The new yield is about 2.5% of the average yearly yield. Exchequer Dam was designed in the middle of the last century. Its design was based on engineering safety standards developed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. These engineering standards, accepted then and now across the U.S., resulted in an 11.3-foot margin of safety against dam overtopping and failure. In a very large runoff event, accompanied by failure of the radial gates, water could conceivably overtop the gated and ungated spillways. Because of the 11.3 feet of safety margin built in as a part of good engineering design practice, the water would have to flow 11.3 feet deep across 1,320 feet of spillway before it reached the top of the dam. If the spillways were raised by 10 feet, the margin of safety against overtopping and dam failure would be only 1.3 feet, about the size of this rubber beach toy. Raising the spillways would greatly increase this risk. There is no indication that Merced Irrigation has conferred with any dam safety authority regarding whether or not the spillway raise will comply with engineering safety requirements. Without the benefit of detailed analysis by appropriate state and federal dam safety engineers, we conclude that the project reduces the safety margin against overtopping and dam failure from 11.3 feet to 1.3 feet, or 88%. The Division of Safety of Dams came into existence as a direct result of one of California's worst catastrophes, the failure of the 2-year-old St. Francis Dam in Southern California one chilly night in March of 1928. The dam failure killed more than 450 people, left hundreds of others homeless, destroyed 900 houses, many bridges and roads, and 24,000 acres of farmland was swept away. In California's history, this event ranks second only to the San Francisco 1906 earthquake. In a 1986 flood event, the Auburn Coffer Dam failed. Authorities discounted, even made light of the failure, with remarks such as, "It was only designed for the 30-year flood," and "It was not a permanent infrastructure," and "The dam failed when the soft plug eroded, just as it was designed to do." The truth of the matter was that the failure was a very serious event, and nearly caused levee failure and serious flooding in Sacramento. The Spillway Raise project makes Exchequer Dam vulnerable to a failure similar to the Auburn Coffer Dam failure. The Auburn Bypass Tunnel did not have enough capacity to keep the dam from filling and overtopping. Once the dam spilled over the top, it eroded an ever larger channel, and finally the dam was destroyed entirely. The Exchequer Spillway Raise project reduces by 88% the ability to pass a large flood over the spillway, particularly if the radial gates fail. In a large storm, this could cause the dam to overtop and possibly erode and fail, as did the Auburn Coffer Dam. Increasing the maximum pool of McClure Reservoir would cause permanent damage to habitat along about 1,800 feet of the Merced River above McClure Reservoir and along the shore of McClure Reservoir itself. A secluded stretch of mild whitewater would become flat water, lengthening the flat water paddle to takeout. Inundation will cause deposits of fine sediments, which causes direct negative effects on adult growth and survival, as well as reduced reproduction due to loss of eggs and alevins. Sedimentation also adversely affects benthic invertebrate populations, which are a food source for salmon and trout at all life stages after hatching. Periodic flooding will permanently destroy fully protected limestone salamander habitat and is likely to actually kill salamanders. Campgrounds along the inundated reach, including the large campground at Bagby, will be inundated and made unusable. Removal of wild and scenic protection from the Merced could pave the way for further weakening of wild and scenic protection in California and the nation. It would give a thumbs up to developers to renew plans for new or enlarged dams that would encroach on other wild and scenic rivers we thought were protected for future generations. Rivers like the Eel, Middle Fork Feather, Tuolumne, and the Kings. It could bring us back to an era of fighting dam projects on reach after reach over and over again. All the best river stretches for boating, all the habitat of our precious remaining fish, birds, and riverside wildlife, all could be threatened with destruction once again. Representative Jeff Denham's speech in support of H.R. 2578 gave substance to these concerns.
While some say that this is this will set a precedent for undoing wild and scenic designations, this area being discussed naturally floods already and would impact less than 1 mile of the 122.5 miles of the Merced River. We need many more projects like this. We need Los Vaqueros, Exchequer. We need the Temperance Flat. We need to raise Shasta. We need many more projects like this. We need many more projects like this. We need many more projects like this. We need many more projects like this.
To help us protect the Merced and other wild and scenic rivers, go now to www.friendsoftheriver.org.
Come on, let's be a friend of the river, twisting, turning, old life giver. Any friend of the river is a friend of mine. Grab your paddles and your life jackets, hit the current and hit the rapids. Any friend of the river is a friend of mine.